exploitation, colonization, and gentrification, imprisonment, migration, and militarization, homophobia, and transphobic aggression, violence by police, reproductive oppression. But from the pain we will open eyes, awaken hearts and awaken minds, and our demands we intensify. Strategically we are organized. Together we can raise the vibration through our action and imagination, respect, trust, and communication, and Lord for our future generation. Intersectional, inclusive we come. Collective power is how this is won. We keep it rising like the fire of the sun. We will rise like the sun. We will rise like the sun. One for a billion, a billion for one. One for a billion, a billion for one. One for a billion, a billion for one. We are rising. We are rising. We are rising now. And in this life, we are rising. We are rising. We are rising now. Whoa, a way of life, a way of being, ignites the fire. We are believing as one, as one, as one. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing, amazing. We are definitely rising. Thank you so much, Taina, for opening us up with that powerful and inspiring reminder of the power that we have together. Good evening, everyone. Buenas tardes. I am Zulma Arias. I'm the Executive Director of People's Action Institute, and I am so excited to be with you, with all of you, from more than 50 national organizations and networks, with all of the local and state groups who are the lifeblood of our movement. Together, we have the power of millions of people at the grassroots in thousands of communities all across the country. And tonight, we are here in 3 languages: Korean, Spanish, and English. Thank you to our interpreters, our performers, and the many organizations who have sponsored tonight's event, and all of you for joining us tonight. Thank you. If you would like interpretation into Spanish or Korean, please follow the link in the chat. El enlace va a estar en las conversaciones si quiere interpretación. Tonight, we will hear powerful state and local organizers from every corner of the country, along with Senator Bernie Sanders, Representative Pramila Jayapal, who is also a community organizer. She founded our member organization, One America in Washington State, and Jasmine Rudy, representing the National Nurses Organizing Committee. And we are here to fight forward together for everyone who will be hurt by the Trump administration's deep cuts to health, housing, and education, to fund tax breaks for billionaires and for mass deportations. This is wrong. We all know it. Even the lawmakers who voted for this know it's wrong. It will hurt us all. Soon, every one of us will know a family torn apart, or a hospital or a nursing home closing. We will know people we loved who are hungry or are forced to go into the streets. We'll hear from some of those voices tonight. This is a moment like never before. But the good news is that we are ready. 2 years ago, our organizations came together to launch an organizing revival to make our movement for social change, which needs all of us, as strong as it can be. And ever since Trump announced his big, ugly budget, we have worked together as never before with a united action group to raise your voices, to raise our voices about the harm these cuts will cause. The budget passed, but we're not giving up the fight. We are grounded in our shared love for one another and our understanding that we, as a movement of organized communities, can move mountains when we work together. As a nation, we deserve better, and we can do better. We have overcome great obstacles in the past to end slavery, expand the right to vote, and to live and work with dignity. The 60th anniversary of Medicare and Medicaid reminds us what we can do and what our country can be. Some of tonight's stories may upset you. You may feel angry. You may feel sad, but they will also inspire you because they are voices as strong, clear, and committed as I am to defending our shared humanity at all times, to create a country for all of us. No one can tell me we don't have the strength when we stand together to do what is right. I've seen it and I know it's true. We'll start tonight with a section on what we did as community organizers to fight the fight. Then what's in the bill and who will affect and how it will affect us, who's at fault, and where we find ourselves. We know that who is set to benefit from the cuts are billionaires and greedy corporations, not each other. And finally, we're going to talk about how you can join the fight. Remember, together we can move mountains. Juntos podemos. Together we can. And together we will. So thank you for joining and thank you for fighting with us. And with that, let's welcome my dear friend, Reverend Dr. Liz Theo-Harris from the Kairos Center to ground us in a reflection. Welcome, Liz.
Thank you so much, Sulma, and it's so beautiful to be with folks this evening. I come to you as an organizer, a theologian, a pastor, and a mother, grounded in what our sacred texts and traditions have to say about this moment. The prophet Isaiah warns, "Woe to you who legislate evil and pass laws that deprive the rights of the poor and making women and homeless children your prey." The prophet Jeremiah reminds us to do no wrong to the immigrant, to the homeless, to the children, and to not shed innocent blood. Indeed, our faith traditions are clear that when people with authority stay up late at night thinking of ways to hurt people, that this is not God's will. These same faith traditions tell us, the people, to not lose heart, to have courage, and to have faith that we as a people have the power to spread abundance from all across the land. So please pray with me. God of justice and truth, we lift up to you millions of your people who are being abandoned in the midst of abundance, and the millions more being impacted by this big, bad bill. Grant us the wisdom to come together in new ways in order to survive, to hold the powerful responsible for unjust policies and lies, and to rebuild foundations of love and justice. Grant us the courage to press on and organize as we resist the degradation of human life, the temptation of the powerful to profit off the poor. And grant us the love to do good, to preach good news to those who have been left out and looked over and locked up, to comfort the broken and the brokenhearted. May we know that we are called to make earth as it is in heaven. And since it is your will, may we make it so. Amen. Now, let me hand it over to Jennifer Flynn Walker from Popular Democracy to get us started. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much, Reverend Liz. Like you said, we've fought a good and a moral fight. It was the right thing to do, and we sure gave it all that we had. And we have plenty more where that came from. I'm Jennifer Flynn Walker from Popular Democracy. We're a network of power building organizations that step up and fight back whenever they come for our people. Before we hear directly from leaders across the country, I'd like to share a video that captures the bold actions of thousands, many of whom joined us in DC and put their bodies where their values are. Many of them also just went to their local capitals, their local office buildings where their electeds were, and they too put their bodies on the line. And as they say, roll tape.
Today, something is happening in America. Americans are rising up to say, we want a government by and for the people, not by and for the billionaires. They have a choice. They can either be representatives of their districts, or they can act like Trump Musk employees.
The betrayal for our families is real here. It is so real. It will take food out of the mouths of children that are hungry. So all of you pretending that you're not going to hurt the residents that sent you here, all because of your donors, corporations, polluters, and all the people that, again, all those corporations and folks that don't need the cut, they don't even need it. You're going to do it on the backs of those that are the most vulnerable.
If we don't use our voice, we're not going to get nothing. You understand? We're not going to get anything. So I'm asking you, we have to continue fighting.
The reality is, like many Americans, my family depends on access to good, affordable, accessible, and just health care. So I join millions of Americans saying we must kill this bill.
It is literally the largest transfer of wealth from working people and poor people in this country to the biggest billionaires, to big oil, to all of the people that want to destroy our public lands, that want to destroy our communities.
I know how hard it is to balance the bills and the health care you need to live. I had to ration my care to keep a roof over my head. Instead of cutting Medicaid and taking health care away from people, Congress should do more to make the ultra wealthy and big corporations pay what they owe.
We will resist hate, fight back against efforts to criminalize our communities and hold those in power accountable. We will continue to build power because our communities deserve dignity, justice, and future free from fear. We will rise, we will fight, and we will win.
So it's time to get out there to march, to organize, to make calls, to show up, to show out, and to save our democracy, our communities, and our planet. So let's get out there and organize and do this.
So are you going anywhere? We're not going anywhere. We're going to make sure that from New York to Chicago to Minnesota to Michigan to Kentucky and the entire country, that people understand that we are ready to keep fighting. We are just getting started. We are just getting started.
Wow, I don't know about you, but I have goosebumps hearing from all of those powerful leaders. While the task at hand feels at times daunting, together, whether it's through bold actions like the ones we just saw, being willing to face arrest, or in quiet non-compliance, we all must move into formation. And we can win. Can you feel it? I know I can. Billionaires want to trade our democracy away in an effort to thwart accountability to the people. Authoritarians follow suit because an informed and active citizenry is the foe of every oligarch and corrupt authoritarian. At the core, both wish to unwind the America we built through struggle as they happily trade our freedom as ransom. We see the assault on due process, equal protection, and even birthright citizenship as inextricably linked to the active dissolution of the safety nets like Medicaid, HUD, the Department of Education, and more. How? Because at the core, our ideological opponents built the world they desired, and we changed it through struggles. At Reconstruction, we struggled for the promise of freedom to extend beyond land-owning white men. In the Civil Rights Movement, we built upon that promise, securing victories we see unraveling today. While we didn't stop the big, ugly bill, we must continue to organize and strive to shape a narrative in which all of us are born free. I invite you to continue this fight at every level. I urge you to deepen your relationships with the incredible organizations working hard right in your backyard. I urge you to learn more about how you can play a role in defending the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, which protects our freedoms to belong, love who we love, get the care we need, and pick our own leaders. You can start by checking out Defend the 14th, the number 14th.org. And you can help each one teach one at this critical juncture of our nation's history. Now, please join me in welcoming 4 courageous people who have been leading this fight in states across the country, here to inspire us. Daisy Angeles from Tennessee, Teresa Trujillo from Colorado, Reverend W.T. Edmondson in Missouri, and Rachel Phipps in North Carolina. Welcome, Daisy.
Hola, everyone. I'm Daisy Angeles, a proud Mexican American, a mother to an autistic child, and a community organizer with Micah Memphis, an affiliate of the Gamaliel Network. This fight is deeply personal. When I was 16 years old in California, I saw my own family be torn apart by immigration enforcement. And today, I'm raising a mixed status family here in Tennessee, where new laws are bringing that fear right back into our homes. Congress has pushed through what they're calling a big, beautiful bill, a package that funnels $40 billion to ICE and Border Patrol, fueling aggressive raids, surveillance, and the detention of immigrant families. With that kind of funding, their operations are expanding like never before. More agents, more raids, more surveillance tools, all designed to target and tear families apart. This is not about safety. It's about control. It's about criminalizing our existence and destroying our communities. That's why Micah Memphis, through our immigration and inclusivity team, has been fighting back with action, courage, and community. This summer, we've showed up. We've organized and stood with partners in peaceful protests outside the immigration courthouse. We've stood with parents and students to demand policies that protect all students, regardless of their immigration status, right here in Memphis and at the Capitol in Nashville. We've led Know Your Rights workshops across the city through block walks, back to school events, and house meetings, sharing thousands of multilingual packets, building trust, and giving immigrant families the tools they need to protect themselves. We've expanded our local rapid response hotline so we can dispatch volunteers to show up when community members are being harassed or detained. And we're not stopping. We're launching a letter writing and testimonial campaign, putting our stories directly in front of local and state lawmakers because they need to hear from us. We're turning fear into power. We're protecting our families, our communities, and our future. This is our home, our fight, our legacy, and we're not letting anyone take that away. Gracias.
Hi, my name is Teresa Trujillo, and I live in Southern Colorado in a community called Pueblo. My family has been here for as far back as we know, so we have a profound sense of belonging to the people and to this land. I am the co-executive director of the statewide power building organization, Center for Health Progress. And as an affiliate of People's Action Institute, I've had the opportunity to both accompany leaders and send leaders to Washington, D.C. to fight for our community and for our state against this big, ugly bill. Engaging in civil disobedience at our congressional representative's office was transformational for our leaders. Experience like this help us connect the dots between what's happening in Congress and the day-to-day struggles we face in our lives here in Colorado. These experiences have helped us to motivate folks where we live and take actions that reflect our local needs, our local messages, and most importantly, hold our congressional representative to account. Our congressional district spans 27 counties in southern and western Colorado. It's important that we unite these rural communities to tell our representative loud and clear that Medicaid saves lives, our lives, and that Medicaid cuts kill. Our leaders have organized rallies with up to 2,000 people for things like the Hands Off and No Kings national calls to action. And we said yes when People's Action Institute invited us to participate in the Family's First Actions last Saturday. In less than 2 weeks, our leaders and partners pulled off an event that was part community block party and part youth activist camp. We had a dunk booth for local electeds, games for the kids, button making, rock painting, snow cones, popcorn, and cotton candy. And our leaders staffed a booth that had families making various kinds of slime, because our families are tired of slime ball politics. At the end of this evening, we held a glow stick vigil in solidarity with the 60-hour vigil in Washington, D.C. that marked the 60th anniversary of the Medicaid program. We know we've got a lot of work to do so people can understand how the big betrayal affects our health, our homes, and our future. To be honest, most folks still don't realize how our futures just got way less secure and much more expensive. But we're going to make sure that they do. So we're going to take our show on the road to as many of our 27 counties as we can to inform and organize. So as you are taking action in your own community, be assured that there's a group of us committed folks here at Center for Health Progress in Colorado. We feel the solidarity of this movement and hope you do too. Adelante, ajo. Over to our next speaker.
Hello, I'm Reverend W.T. Edmondson, Interim Pastor, Second Baptist Church, Jefferson City, Missouri, and Vice President of Missouri Faith Voices. I'm also one of the Medicaid 23. Medicaid is a lifeline for people living on limited income and persons with disabilities. Medicaid expansion in Missouri was the result of many long, hard fights by many Missourians. Senator Hawley must be held accountable for his word to stand against the cuts to Medicaid. But then he voted to gut Medicaid. Missouri Faith Voices led the fight, along with other organizations like Missouri Jobs with Justice, for the passage of Medicaid expansion in the state of Missouri. In 2024, 23 clergy protested in the state Senate and were arrested as a result. In that group, we were dubbed the Medicaid 23. Legislators were consistently told that not passing Medicaid expansion would result in hospital closures. They refused to fund Medicaid, even after the Citizen Initiative passed. Since 2014, a total of 21 hospitals have closed in Missouri, with 12 of those closures occurring in rural counties. More than a dozen other rural hospitals are reported to be at risk. On Monday, July the 21st, 2025, Missouri Faith Voices led a demonstration in Columbia, Springfield, and St. Louis at Senator Hawley's office. Kansas City was postponed due to weather. Missouri Faith Voices will be aligning ourselves with other like-minded organizations to continue the fight for Medicaid, along with other right benefits that the lawless administration are implementing and attempting to implement. Thank you. Back to you.
Good evening. My name is Rachel Phipps, and I speak to you tonight on the behalf of Action NC and Popular Democracy. But I also speak to you on the behalf as myself, as someone whose life is on the line, a person directly affected by what we can only call the big ugly betrayal. For people like me who live with lupus and MS, it isn't just about politics. It is about the hope for a semi-normal life. It is about affording medication and life-saving infusion treatments that keep me alive. So when Republicans in Washington proposed devastating Medicaid cuts and dangerous work requirements, they weren't just playing politics, they were threatening our very lives. But we refused to be victims. We fought back. We organized. We showed up all over the state. and launched Care, Not Cuts campaign. We held vigils, delivered petitions, told our stories, and made sure lawmakers saw our face and heard our voices. We wanted Tillis and Republicans to know that we are not just a line item on a budget, but we demanded to be heard. And we were not in this alone. Down home, North Carolina was incredible in mobilizing rural communities and bringing frontline voices to the forefront of the conversation. Action NC was our megaphone, amplifying our stories in the media and at the Capitol, ensuring no one could ignore us. And then the turning point. Senator Tom Tillis heard us. After he vowed to vote no, we still didn't stop. We turned up the heat. We hand-delivered petitions to all the North Carolina offices. We kept showing up, kept calling, and pushing him to work harder behind the scenes to take more no votes with him. The pressure worked because our movement helped shift the entire conversation in Washington. Senator Tillis's no vote wasn't just a rejection of bad policy. It was a powerful signal that our voices, our stories, and our lives matter. But let me be clear. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. We have set the stage here in North Carolina for a Senate race where Medicaid, justice, and human dignity are on the ballot. We have shown our power, and we are not backing down.
Thank you, Rachel. Now, you all know we have no time to waste. Lives are at stake, so it's time to get into formation. We need to bring more people into this fight. Our friends and neighbors need to know what is in this horrible bill and how their communities will change so that we can take action together with one voice. Here to tell us more about the big betrayal is Anna Aurelio from the Economic Security Project. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you, Jen. I'm here to tell you the what, the who, the when, and the how of this big betrayal. What gets cut, who gets hurt, when that happens, and how this affects us. And my name is Anna Aurelio. I'm with Economic Security Project, and we're an organization that's working to build economic power for everyone. Really honored to join 50 organizations in this effort. So first, let me talk about the timeline. Republicans tried to delay the pain until after the midterms, but many impacts will actually hit sooner. Immediately and ongoing, SNAP cuts will start and rural hospitals will begin to close or cut services. This will have devastating impacts on communities. In November of this year, Affordable Care Act open enrollment begins with much more expensive premiums. People could see their premiums go up by hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars. In July of next year, student loans will be cut and repayment plans will get more expensive. In December of 2026, the Medicaid cuts will kick millions off coverage. And in October of 2027, states will have to start contributing to SNAP, and that will likely cause benefits or eligibility cuts. Now let's go into detail with what the bill cuts. The bill guts programs that millions of people rely on to stay healthy, fed, and afloat in the middle of an affordability crisis. When it comes to healthcare, at least 14 million people will get kicked off health insurance. When it comes to food, in the richest country on earth, more than 5 million people, about 1 in 8 SNAP participants, might lose their food assistance. For energy, $500 billion in clean energy cut will make energy bills skyrocket. When it comes to student loans, if you're a current borrower, you will see your payments rise by nearly $250 a month. Future borrowers will have fewer and far more expensive options. And then you say, well, where does this money go? Who did the Republicans give it to? They gave it to billionaires and ICE. This bill cuts life-saving services just to give billionaires a tax cut and to fund ICE's deportation machine. Billionaires get billions in tax cuts while working people will actually end up owing more money. This bill fuels ICE's inhumanity. It will give ICE around $75 billion in new funding to increase detentions and deportations. This is an enormous number, and it could fund the detention of 116,000 people per day. Finally, it'll give the Department of Homeland Security $46.6 billion in funding for construction of a border wall and a slush fund, another $10 billion for vague reimbursement costs. Now, who gets hurt in our communities? This bill is a recipe for sicker, hungrier, and poorer communities, just so they can kidnap our neighbors and enrich their billionaire donors. 51,000 people will die every year as a result of the healthcare cuts. Hundreds of hospitals will be forced to close or cut services. More of our immigrant neighbors will disappear, and more non-citizens and citizens alike will be targeted. Life will get more expensive and harsher for everyone, but especially for our immigrant communities. Finally, we got to the end of all the bad stuff. What can we do about it? Let's not sugarcoat it. This bill is a devastating loss, but it is not done. We have the chance now to make sure all of America knows what was done and who did it. Our goal now is to build power together, to look after each other and tell the story of this big betrayal, and to fight in our states to stop as much of the harm as we can. So to tell us more about the impacts of this bill, we'll hear from 4 speakers: Tia Fields in Louisiana, Kenya Randall in Georgia, Alyssa Tierney in New Jersey, and Marisol Hernandez in California. Welcome, Tia.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tia Fields, she, they, Aya. I'm a community advocate here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. But more importantly, I'm a single mother of 3, ages 16, 9, and 1. The U.S. Census labels my household as Alice, asset limited, income constrained, and employed. What that really means is I work in a nonprofit sector, but I still can't afford to survive. It's the classification of working poor. I live with epilepsy, and 2 of my children have significant mental health diagnosis. My oldest, she needs gender-affirming care. My middle child relies on cognitive therapy. We depend on Medicaid to access specialists, therapy, and medication. That is our safety net, and without it, we're further at risk. In East Baton Rouge Parish, 49% of households are either in poverty or Alice. That's nearly 90,000 households struggling to afford the bare minimum: food, housing, transportation, access to healthcare. In Louisiana overall, 1 in 2 households are barely making it, and it's getting worse. More than 76% of my own income goes straight to rent and utilities. That money is gone in less than 2 weeks. There's no cushion, no margin, just me stretching every resource to care for my children and keep us afloat. So when Congress passed this one big betrayal of a bill, it wasn't just another policy loss. It was a gut punch. It cut food access. It slashed healthcare protections and told families like mine that our survival is negotiable. But I'm not just raising children. I'm raising awareness, and I'm raising hell when I need to. Because silence doesn't feed my family, and respectability does not pay my bills. I'm in this fight because I don't have the luxury to sit it out, and I know I'm not alone. We deserve more than performative compassion and policy that punishes us for being poor. Our legislative leaders need to understand we are not invisible and we are not expendable. And if they won't, then we need to elect officials who will. Thank you.
Today, something is happening in America. Americans are rising up to say we want a government by and for the people, not by and for the billionaires. They have a choice. They can either be representatives of their districts, or they can act like Trump Musk employees.
The betrayal for our families is real here. It is so real. It will take food out of the mouths of children that are hungry. So all of you pretending that you're not going to hurt the residents that sent you here, all because of your donors, corporations, polluters, and all the people that, again, all those corporations and folks that don't need the cut, they don't even need it. That's right. You're going to do it on the backs of those that are the most vulnerable.
If we don't use our voice, we're not going to get nothing. You understand? We're not going to get anything. So I'm asking you, We have to continue fighting.
The reality is, like many Americans, my
I don't think
family
Marlene is able
depends
to. I've been doing it because her
access
thing is
to
frozen, and I've been
good,
learning very quickly how to do
affordable,
it.
accessible, and just healthcare. So I
Okay.
join millions of
Kenya,
Americans
you ready?
saying we must
Yes.
kill this bill.
It is literally the largest transfer of wealth from working people and poor people in this country to the biggest billionaires, to big oil, to all of the people that want to destroy our public lands, that want to destroy our communities.
I know how hard it is to balance the bills and the health care you need to live. I had to ration my care to keep a roof over my head. Instead of cutting Medicaid and taking health care away from people, Congress should do more to make the ultra wealthy and big corporations pay what they owe.
We will resist hate, fight back against efforts to criminalize our communities and hold those in power accountable. We will continue to build power because our communities deserve dignity, justice, and future free from fear. We will rise, we will fight, and we will win.
So it's time to get out there to march, to organize, to make calls, to show up, to show out, and to save our democracy, our communities, and our planet. So let's get out there and organize and do this.
So are you going anywhere?
That's great.
We're not going anywhere.
Okay.
We're going to make sure that from New York to Chicago to Minnesota to Michigan to Kentucky and the entire country, that people understand that we are ready to keep fighting. We are just getting started. We are just getting started.
I am Kenya Randall, a member of National Domestic Work Alliance, We Dream in Black Georgia chapter. We are showing up because protecting Medicaid isn't just a policy fight, it's real people, real families, and the care that keeps us going. Investing in Medicaid is investing in families like my sister, Valerie, whom I care for, and who suffers with bipolar, schizophrenia, asthma, memory loss. She's on a fixed income, and without Medicaid, she would be left without the care, the medicine, and support that keeps her alive and stable. Valerie is supported by home care-based services, but when those services were delayed for over a month, I still showed up unpaid because she depends on me. I've been doing this work out of deep love and commitment, and I know I'm not alone. There are thousands of people across the country just like me holding their families together. Valerie cannot work. Her mind simply won't let her. The demands of everyday employment, Social Security knows this, yet new Medicaid policies says she might have to work in order to keep her benefits. This is cruel, this is wrong, and it is just not fair. If Medicaid is cut, my sister would struggle. I would lose my living wages. I just don't understand why keeping the wealthy take more while people like my sister fight just to survive. I am speaking out because I refuse to give up. My heart won't let me. I care for my sister for over a decade. I will continue to stay by her. I am also speaking out for all the families that need help, need support, and a government that puts people first. This is not about me or Valerie. It's about doing what's right and putting working families first.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Tierney, and I'm the lead organizer for the Not One More campaign to end overdose in New Jersey, and a proud member of the People's Action Institute. Medicaid is the single largest mental health care in the United States. Most times I have to find certain people for stories or bills that we're fighting, but this fight was different. Almost every single person in my campaign had a Medicaid story, including me. A few years ago, I lost my private health insurance unexpectedly, and everything was fine for a few months until I relapsed. I finally got onto Medicaid and was connected to a doctor who put me on medication and saved my life. I get to be a mom to my 12-year-old twins that are on this live stream because of Medicaid. My members already have so many barriers. They don't need additional ones. Some have criminal backgrounds and their opportunities are limited. Not only are their job opportunities limited, but some people lost their licenses. So they have to find a job that's close to a bus route. And everyone is dealing with trauma or PTSD. One of my members, Hassan, came to DC with me, and he literally told the staff that if this bill passes, he could possibly be back on the streets. And he didn't think he was going to survive it again. And they still voted it through. We just had a Medicaid rally in a heat wave in front of Congressman Van Drew's office on July 17th. And I want to end this by quoting one of my members, Kim, who's here tonight. Addiction is not able-bodied. Being an active substance use isn't just painful, it's paralyzing, it's crippling. People aren't choosing not to work, they're just trying to stay alive. To say that someone in the grip of substance use can just go to work is not only ignorant, it's dangerous. It shows a complete misunderstanding of the very crisis taking lives every day in this country. When this bill takes effect, make no mistake, within 2 years, overdose deaths will rise. People will die waiting for care. People will be denied a chance at recovery, and families will be left grieving again. And now I'll pass it to Marisol.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marisol Hernandez, and I'm the Deputy Director of Policy at SHRLA. I'm here this evening to talk about the harm that this big betrayal bill will cause for our immigrant communities and all of our neighbors across the country. I'm sure everyone has seen the news about the mass ICE raids in Los Angeles and all over California, with people being rounded up by armed and masked federal agents. This is what it looks like when you throw billions of dollars at an agency that has no accountability for its abusive actions. As we continue to see the raids in immigration enforcement in California, we are also left with the devastating consequences left behind by the administration's scroll policies. Between June 6th and July 20th, SHRLA received over 1,600 calls of immigration enforcement activity. We continue to hear stories of our long-term residents who have been in the United States for decades being negatively affected. Many of the individuals have been here for 10, 20, or 30 plus years. In one story, a family recalled a brother who was detained, causing trauma that will last a lifetime. Some recall officers laughing at them after being detained, and others have shared the level of fear that they have during the raids that has made them decide to leave the country, leaving behind jobs, families, and a whole life that they have built here. With the anti-immigrant policies being passed in the big betrayal bill and the massive increase in ICE funding, we will see these attacks on our communities escalate around the country, and more families falling victim to a system that has little regard for them. But we are not giving up, and we're not going anywhere. People in California came together to defend their neighbors and their loved ones, and this is what we all need to do all over the country in the coming months and years. And we will continue to call on our elected leaders in Congress, in states, and in cities to stand up, to fight back, and to protect our communities with everything that they have. Thank you for standing with us in this fight.
Thank you, Marisol, and all of our speakers. Like I said, our fight is far from over. Here to tell us more about who's to blame for the big betrayal and what we can do are Carmen Medrano from Colorado and Paulette Soltani in Texas. Welcome, Carmen.
Hi, everyone. Carmen Medrano with United for a New Economy and Right to the City. So, friends and comrades, let's get real. This budget is a straight-up robbery. We are facing a stark and dangerous divide, billionaires and corporations versus the rest of us. Schloesserman, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos. These billionaires and their corporate allies are getting richer while we're forced to struggle. These corporations, from tech giants to landlords who hike up our rents and refuse to fix unlivable conditions, rake in profits at the expense of working people. Now, we know that the latest bill pushed through Congress was nothing less than a robbery from the working class. This will raise the cost of living for the poorest of us while giving billions, yes, billions, in tax breaks to the ultra wealthy. All of this at a time when so many of us can't even afford to put food on the table or keep a roof over our heads. This bill isn't just about money, though. It's about slashing programs like Medicaid, SNAP, and affordable housing. These are life-saving programs for mothers like Erika in Colorado, who relies on Medicaid to support herself and her 3 young children. Medicaid provides access to services like therapy and care for her children with autism, which help them gain independence and communication skills. When this bill attacks these programs, it's directly attacking families like Erika's. This bill is also an investment in authoritarianism here and abroad. It gives ICE the resources to hire 10,000 more officers, expanding their power to detain, terrorize, and abuse immigrant communities. At the same time, it funnels billions to support Israel's military genocide of the Palestinian people, bankrolling mass violence and apartheid with our tax dollars. We cannot and will not stand by while this happens. The billionaire class and their corporate partners are working overtime to strip us of our rights, our dignity, and our safety. They want us overwhelmed, but we fight back with renters and immigrants, with poor and working class people across race and place. We are the majority. And when we rise up, organize, and refuse to be silent, no billionaire can buy that kind of power. This is our moment. Let's take it. Over to you, Paulette.
Hi, everyone. My name is Paulette Soltani, and I'm one of the co-directors of Vocal Texas and a proud member of Vocal US, People's Action, and Popular Democracy. Vocal Texas builds power with people impacted by homelessness, mass incarceration, the war on drugs, and AIDS. I am so glad to be here with all of you. It gives me so much hope to see so many of you here. Just last week, President Trump issued an executive order to say he's going after people experiencing homelessness, people with mental health challenges, and who use drugs. Trump wants to make not having a home a crime everywhere in the country. But we know real proven solutions to these problems exist, like housing and healthcare, but we're facing attacks instead of compassion and proven solutions. And who's behind the cruel policies? A lot of times it's the billionaires who want to cut our services so that they can keep more for themselves. And it's not just Trump or Elon Musk that we have to worry about. Right here in Texas, we have a local billionaire named Joe Lonsdale. Let me tell you a little bit about Joe. Joe got rich off surveillance. He co-founded Palantir, a software company ICE uses to deport people that I'm sure many of you are familiar with. He also invests in private prisons and owns Promise, a company that monitors people when they get released from jail. And he founded the Cicero Institute, a right-wing think tank in Austin, which is sending out bills all across the country to help police ticket and arrest people who are too poor to afford a place to live. In the past year, Cicero has helped introduce 320 bills criminalizing unhoused people, nearly 220 of which have passed. My organization has been going after Joe and Cicero because he's an example of the billionaire agenda that we're all up against. Billionaires and corporations are prioritizing profit over people and leaving us to suffer the consequences. We must fight back against the billionaire agenda on a local, state, and federal level. We must demand housing, services, and care, and expose the agenda and who's truly at fault for the challenges that people are facing every single day in our country. We have to organize more people, and our movements have to work together to defeat this billionaire agenda. They're starting with unhoused people, immigrants, trans people, but they're coming for all of us. We must build political power for change. A little bit more about the billionaire agenda and what we can do is one of our true champions, Representative Jayapal from Washington State. Here's her special message. Thank you.
I'm Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, and I'm honored to represent Washington's 7th Congressional District in the House of Representatives. Thank you to all of the incredible organizations putting on this event as we celebrate 60 years of Medicare and Medicaid, take stock of our current political moment, and organize for the fight ahead. I'm here to talk to you about what we're up against and what we're fighting for. There's one really clear fight in front of us, and it's working class Americans just trying to get by and survive versus the giant corporations and billionaires that are screwing us over daily as they endlessly increase their profits. We've got to be laser focused on making sure that people understand who is to blame for the worst wealth and income inequality that our country has ever seen. It's the millionaires, the billionaires, and the mega corporations that have consolidated their power, resources, and political influence. They have lobbied the government for decades to receive loopholes, tax breaks, and handouts. They have crushed small businesses and raised prices on food, housing, and life-saving medication. They've rigged the system against poor and working people. While billionaires throw $50 million weddings in Venice, moms and dads are working 3 jobs just to achieve a living wage, keep a roof over their family's head, put food on the table, and send their kids to school. While big pharma and profiteering private insurance companies are raking in billions of dollars in profits, Americans are cutting their prescription drugs in half and getting sicker and poorer every single day. That's just not right. Everyone deserves to earn a living wage working 1 job instead of 3. You deserve affordable childcare and education for your kids without mountains of debt. You deserve comprehensive health care from the day you're born to the day you die. You deserve a planet that is living and breathing for generations to come. And you deserve a retirement with security and dignity. That's what we are fighting for. And don't let anyone tell you that we can't afford it. America has never suffered from scarcity. We suffer from greed. We can force giant corporations and greedy billionaires to just pay their fair share in taxes. That's it. Pay your fair share. And there'd be plenty to go around to make sure that every American can thrive, not just survive. Look, all the issues that we care about are connected. I'm not a mom on Monday, a woman on Tuesday, an immigrant on Wednesday, and a worker on Thursday. I'm all of those things all of the time. And we are going to fight for all of those things all of the time. We're going to stand up for the poor, the bullied, the left behind, the silenced. We're going to take care of each other and unite against those who want to rob us of our dignity and our livelihoods. And we're not going to let them allow us to blame each other for their cruelty. Because it's not trans kids or immigrants who are raising your rent and cutting your wages. It's the billionaires and the mega corporations. Now, I know these times are hard. The pain and suffering is real. And I know you're on the front lines, feeling the weight of the brutal and cruel world around us. But as organizers, remember this. Strength emerges in times of crisis. That's when we all get forced to dig deep, to find strength that we didn't know we had, to search for new ways to build our truly intersectional movement, to organize for true power for the people. That's when we remind ourselves again and again that our coordinated resistance is stronger than their hate, our love is greater than their greed, and our power will eclipse their cruelty. I'm so glad to be in this fight with you. Keep it up, and thank you.
Thank you, Representative Jayapal, and all the incredible leaders on this call. Your words and your will is inspiring us. For folks who are joining us, please write in the chat what has inspired you so far. My name is Cindy Weissner with Grassroots Global Justice Alliance, a national alliance of grassroots organizations fighting for a feminist, anti-racist, and regenerative economy for life. And we're also part of the fight against fascism. We are at a critical juncture where an authoritarian right-wing regime has captured the federal government and now is attacking our communities and dismantling the critical public goods, things that our movements have fought for the multiracial working class, but for everybody in this society. But let's be clear, these are not just cuts to healthcare or food assistance or student loans or renewable energy investment. This ugly bill is a trade-off for billions of dollars towards an economy of death. It expands ICE, making it the largest funded federal law enforcement agency. It further balloons an already bloated budget of military budget, right? And for war, for weapons, for genocide. Our communities want schools, our jobs, hospitals. They don't want top cities or billions of dollars going to war. This budget is a moral document, and this regime is putting corporate profits and violence about care and resilience for our people and the planet. But we're not going to give up to tyranny. We know the antidote to tyranny is care, but also strategy. But we will not allow this administration to divide us and scapegoat us and hand over public services to billionaires and for war. We must come together to collectively care for and protect each other. And we must demand our leaders to defend the multiracial working class. We cannot relent. Our enemies are in the streets, disappearing, kidnapping our families, harming us for creating dissent, for defending our communities. They want us to be afraid. They want us to cower, but we know that they are weak. We know that they are scared of our power. And this is a critical time that we make sure the authoritarian right does not consolidate and does not lock in their power for another decade or two. It is up to us to make sure that this generation and the next one has a fighting chance. By building coalitions together and mobilizing to defend for our vision of a caring economy, we can turn the tide. Our movements are powerful when we are clear on our collective strategy and when we act united in the streets and in our communities, when we build bridges and mobilize together. Like Sulma said as we opened up tonight, we have won big things before, things like Social Security, Medicare, historical investments in environmental justice, and we will win them back again by the power of people organizing together. Back in 2024, GGJ was one of the 24 national organizations that launched a shared report on how community organizing could be the antidote to authoritarianism. And then after Trump's inauguration this year, GGJ created a People's Care Agenda as our answer to this political moment. Our international allies who've experienced authoritarianism in their own territories and countries are sharing their lessons with us. Allies from Brazil who defeated Bolsonaro, and Argentina who are currently struggling against the Malay government, and in India, people who are fighting against Modi's fascism. They told us, the message that they keep telling us is stay in the streets, build united alliances, and fight with an alternative vision for the world that we know we all deserve. Today, we are asking you to take action and take a pledge that we will continue to fight during this August recess as Congress goes home to all its districts. We want you to follow the steps on your screen and text, get your phones or write this down, text pledge to 51767. Again, that is text pledge to 51767 and go to ppls.ac/pledge and commit to take action with us. Please do it now. It'll take a couple of seconds. We want you to tell us what you're going to do. Please share in the chat what you're going to do. We want folks to organize a visit to your representative's office. We want you to write op-eds. We want you to take creative actions, knock on doors, talk to your friends and families, and all of the above. Once you complete the pledge, on that same page, you can download an August Recess toolkit with more ideas about what you can do as an individual, as a faith leader, as an organization to hold Congress accountable. Now is the time to stay strong and fight back this economy of death and demand an economy for life. The struggle continues, and I truly believe that even under these difficult times, we can fight back those who want to erase us from history, and I believe that we will win. I am very pleased to welcome our next speaker, Jasmine Rudy, the Assistant Director of Campaigns of the National Nurses Organizing Committee. But first, we have a very special message from another true champion, Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont. Take it away, Bernie.
Hello, everybody, and thanks very much for having me. This week, as you know, marks 60 years since President Lyndon Johnson signed Medicare and Medicaid into law. 60 years since this country took a giant step forward in recognizing that health care is a human right, not a privilege. But let me be very clear about what we are facing today. At a time of unprecedented income and wealth inequality, Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill includes the largest cut ever to Medicaid in order to pay for the largest tax break ever for billionaires in the history of our country. As a result of this legislation, over 15 million Americans will lose their health care. 50,000 will die each year unnecessarily. 1 out of 4 nursing homes in America may be forced to shut down, and 30% of Americans who receive primary care at community health centers may be denied the care that they need. Make no mistake about it. This bill is a death sentence for working class and low-income Americans. As all of you know, Medicaid provides health care to over 70 million people in our country, including 40 million kids, millions of seniors in nursing homes, and working families who are struggling to get by. When you cut Medicaid, you're not cutting government waste. You are cutting nursing home care for a grandmother in Vermont. You're cutting health care for a pregnant mother in rural Mississippi. You're cutting health care for a child with diabetes in Ohio. And why are they doing this? All so that they can give more tax breaks to billionaires who are already doing phenomenally well. This bill hands out over $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1% and $900 billion in tax breaks for large corporations. In my view, this is morally obscene. In America, we should not be taking away health care from low-income children so that billionaires can get another tax break. But here is what I also know. The American people overwhelmingly reject these massive cuts to Medicaid and to the Affordable Care Act and to nutrition and education, all of which is in this terrible bill. 60 years ago, our government made enormous progress in providing guaranteed health care to seniors and lower-income Americans through the creation of Medicare and Medicaid. Now is the time to guarantee health care to all of our people through a Medicare for All single-payer program. As we celebrate the 60th anniversary of Medicare and Medicaid, our goal as a nation should be not to cut these programs, but to guarantee health care to all Americans. Now it's the time to finish the job. Now is the time to pass Medicare for all. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It's tough to follow Bernie, but I will do my best. It's great to be here gathered with you all this evening. As we celebrate 60 years of Medicare and Medicaid, as we've talked about tonight, what we're really celebrating is the militant movement of working class people who organized and fought to get those programs across the finish line. And ever since Medicare and Medicaid were established, we have been working to protect, improve, and expand on them with our fight to win Medicare for all. Now, the current administration and their billionaire buddies want to destroy all forms of public good and crush working class people. They hope we'll become paralyzed, fighting just to save protections we've already won, too overwhelmed to also move forward. But our movement doesn't step back. We step up. Nurses never had a moment's rest during the hardest years of COVID, and we still keep fighting every day along with our allies to advance Medicare for all. In 1965, when Medicare, this country was at the height of the civil rights movement. The Selma March and the brutal attacks of Bloody Sunday happened that same year. It's not easy to keep pushing when it feels like every battle is happening at once. It takes courage and unbreakable solidarity. But everyday people have always found ways to advance all forms of justice, right? As patient advocates, nurses know that our healthcare system fails our patients even at the best of times. So when we find ourselves at the worst of times, as we do right now under this increasingly authoritarian regime, we only fight harder. In 2025, we refuse to tolerate billionaires profiting off the suffering of working people. We will not give the billionaires the satisfaction of creating inaction and division in our grassroots movement. We're stepping up for a more caring, just society. We're stepping up for our local communities and nationwide, from supporting union workers as they advance healthcare justice in their union contracts, to fighting for single payer at the state level, to never backing down in our fight to achieve Medicare for all. And when we keep marching forward as a united movement, we can and we will win for our patients and each other. Thank you. Now let me welcome Bishop Dwayne Royster from Faith in Action to bring us home and remind us what we can do together right now.
Thank you, Jasmine. Family, friends, fighters for freedom. What a night. I'm Bishop Dwayne Royster, Executive Director of Faith in Action, the International Faith-Based Organizing Network. To every National Power Building Network organization, to our organizing revival partners and scores of co-sponsors, and to you who stayed with us to the very last note, thank you. 60 years ago, ordinary people crashed through extraordinary barriers and birthed Medicare and Medicaid. Tonight, we've named the big betrayal, which threatens that legacy. But let me be clear, the same people power that won in 1965 is still rumbling in our bones right now. We've marched across bridges. We sat in at lunch counters. We've organized 10 million strong for healthcare. And every time they said we couldn't get it done, we did it anyway. Our organizing revival is already on the move. Summer accountability, fall escalation, a long arc bent towards justice that will not snap under the weight of authoritarianism. Together, we are the antidote to authoritarianism. Together, we are the architects of a new America. Together, we're all God's children, worthy of respect, dignity, decency, and healthcare. We refuse to let hope die on our watch. So here's the charge, because some of you are asking in the chat, what are we supposed to do? Before you leave tonight, pledge to act with us during the August recess. Follow the links on your screen to text pledge to 51767. It's right there below you. Text pledge to 51767 and go to ppls.ac/pledge. Let me say that again, ppls.ac/pledge right now. You'll get our August recess congressional accountability toolkit with options for individuals, clergy, and whole communities. Then knock on a door, host a mass conversation, protect your state budget, or do it all. But whatever you do, do something and do it together. Because, beloved, our story is not over. It might feel like 10 plagues, but we win in the end. We have changed the damn world before, and by God's grace, we'll do it again. So nobody wakes up feeling like they're living in hell when they get up in the morning because they don't have health care. If you're ready to fight forward, let me hear you right now in the chat, on social media, and in the streets. Tell us that you're ready to fight. In the next few months, we will work in solidarity as we build a bigger movement to wrestle back control of this country. In a few weeks, in the western and southwestern part of this country, we'll gather in a regional organizing revival to plan and work together to figure out how we fight in that part of the country. In October, we'll gather as thousands of organizers come together, networks and across communities to train to fight authoritarianism together. And in early 2026, together, we will lead a mass action fighting for the soul of this nation. So stay connected and invite others to join the fight to build a nation that works for the flourishing and thriving of us all. Finally, beloved, stay loud, stay loving, but most of all, stay unstoppable. And now, let's welcome Pauline and let the music carry us into the work ahead.
And stay singing, friends. If you would all sing this song with me, and maybe we can take a deep breath in and a breath out. And we are all over the country, but right now we're all going to be singing together. We are connected. We are going to take bold, imaginative action together. We are going to organize, organize, organize. This song is an adaptation of a John Hancock song from the Southern Tenant Farmer Union. It's Mean Things, and we're going to sing about all the mean things that's happening in this land. Feel free to fill up the chat. And then we're going to sing about the good things that are going to happen in this land. There are mean things happening in this land. There are mean things happening in this land. Oh, those corporate profits soar as the poor pay more and more. There are mean things happening in this land. There are mean things happening in this land. There are mean things happening in this land. There go those wealthy billionaires, debt and suffering everywhere. There are mean things happening in this land. There are mean things happening in this land. There are mean things happening in this land. But this movement's going on, and this movement's growing strong, 'cause there are mean things happening in this land. In this land, in this land, in this land, we sing. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza, la libertad es mi única bandera. Rise up, my people, my condors, my eagles. No human being will ever be illegal. Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza, la libertad es mi única bandera. Rise up, my people, my condors, my eagles. No human being will ever be illegal. And there'll be good things happening in this land. There'll be good things happening in this land. poor unite. The end of poverty is in sight, and there'll be good things happening in this land. 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 Oye, mi gente, traemos la fuerza. La libertad es mi única bandera. Rise up, my people, my condors, my eagles. No human being will ever be illegal.